No, obviously things are a bit different this year, guys. But I mean, one thing that hasn't changed for us is the support from Variety, and once again, we'll be fighting out for the Variety Shield, the Showdown Shield. So hopefully we get our hands back on that. But I just can't thank Variety enough for all their support, and and the support as well for the Crows Foundation, Inclusive Academy at AFL Max. That's going to be incredible. I mean, to give these kids a chance who all have special needs, to meet some footballers, make some friends, have some fun. I mean, just an incredible job that you guys do at Variety. So, just wanted to be a big shout out, Showdown Week, but a big shout out to Variety.
Over to you, Theo.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, Ross. G'day, mate. I'm not sure what number Showdown this is for you, but do you still get the same nerves, the same buzz heading into this one?
Absolutely. Always the same sort of energy, I think. It's always during the week. I think it's because, and it's a little different because we haven't interacted with fans and members and people yet, but I'm sure by the end of the week, once we're out of isolation and quarantine here, we'll certainly get that feeling.
Are you out? When do you get your negative tests?
Hopefully by tonight or tomorrow morning. So I think by tomorrow morning we should all be sorted.
And how'd you go in Melbourne? Just talk us through what it was like for you, obviously leaving your little boys at home and your wife, just how the 2 weeks on the road was for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I felt bad for Belinda, really. I mean, she was the one at home with the two little ones. And, I mean, for us, it was a great opportunity to spend time together and bond. And, I mean, we're in the same hotel under the same roof. So we had some valuable time together, which was, I think that's how we took it. And we obviously got one win and didn't quite get the win against the Doggies, but we had had a really good 2 weeks together that we were able just to bond and spend a bit more time together than we would normally. But certainly we're held up back here by all our beautiful wives and partners who are looking after the kids.
And you know better than most that you can't play a Showdown on paper. What does it feel like for you tackling a side that's, one of the form teams of the comp and pretty dangerous as your biggest rival?
Yeah, we responded pretty well to the big challenges throughout our season. And unfortunately, on the weekend, we were pretty primed, we thought, for the Doggies, and we didn't quite perform to the level we wanted. But I suppose the areas for improvement in our tackling and our ability with our shape around the contest, I think that'll hold us. I mean, it'll be a good lesson from the weekend for when we take on Port. So, a big opportunity for us. Absolutely, that's how we see it, is to take on one of the best sides in the comp, and hopefully in front of a few of our home fans would be delightful.
Lastly, does denting their run to a top four, does that give you any extra pride when you think about, the way that you guys have gone at each other over the years?
I'm sure our fans might take some satisfaction out of that, but I mean, for us, we really want to finish this year strongly. We've got 3 games left, and we are really focused on just bringing the heat, bringing the energy for the last 3 rounds of the year and finishing this year off in a really positive way, because we know that definitely helped us last year coming into this pre-season.
Thanks, Skipper.
Max at 10.
Hey, Roz. Sort of following on from what Theo's just said there, without you guys playing any finals this year, I hate to say finals like intensity and all that, but is this the sort of game that you can get your boys up for as a right? Well, let's treat this as our final for the year.
Yeah, this next 3 weeks, not only, I mean, this is a perfect lead-in for us, but absolutely these next few weeks is going to be, I think that's the type of footy we really want to see, because that's how we started the season, and that's what we were proud of, that type of footy we were playing earlier on in the season. So to capture that, maybe it's a Showdown that gets us kick-started again, but to bring that for the last few weeks is going to be something we aspire to.
Do you need a string of good performances here just to sort of send you guys into the off-season? Obviously, with those big wins earlier in the year, the sort of shine fades off them a little bit if you tail off towards the back end of the year. Do you need a couple of big performances and a win or two in the last 3 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, we had a solid win against Hawthorn. Obviously, we didn't quite perform the way we would have liked to against, I think, one of the best sides in the comp in the Doggies on the weekend. There's still some really good patches. But yeah, we do want to. That's how we want to attack this last month of footy, and that's how we want to go into the off season. Is with some solid footy behind us. So, of course, that's important to us.
You didn't lay a tackle on the weekend, Rory, for the first time in, I think, 4 years. Has that been brought up? I'm sure that's something that you love to do every week.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I laid a couple of tackles. They're all broken. So, it doesn't upset. It upsets me. Trust me, it upsets me more than anyone else. I think having the tackle broken, but I think that was the doggies. They were too strong. I think for too strong and a bit cleaner than what we were. So, yep, that one definitely stings. The big naught on the old tackle stat, but again, that'll be a big focus for our whole team this weekend.
Last one from me, just on a couple of sore boys that you had on the weekend. What's the update you've got for us on Himmelberg and Jones?
Yep, so Jones, he'll train this week. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. Himmelberg will be fine. Love the way he's been going about it the last couple of weeks. So hopefully he's all good and, he'll be fine for this weekend. Matty Crouch, I think, is going to play some sample, hopefully. Trying to think who else for you. That's it.
Well, I'll ask one more on Matty while I've got you. Just being selfish, tell us what he did on the weekend and where he's at looking at this week.
What he did on the weekend?
Yeah, like we were told he's going to do a big session or something just to test himself before he goes back into, as you say, a sample game this week. Yeah,
and it's a bit just day by day for Matty, but he pulled up pretty well from that session. So, yeah, he wants to have a crack and play some footy, obviously, throughout the end of the season, because it's been a pretty tough and long season for Matty without playing much football. And that's what we all want to do is just get out there and play.
Thanks, mate.
Shane at AAP, you want to jump on?
Yeah, sure. Rory, just looking at the record, Port Adelaide winning the last three by some pretty big margins. Does that make you any more desperate to get a win over them this time?
Well, yeah, definitely we haven't performed the last few showdowns. And we know they're big games, they're finals-like games. So not performing those games, absolutely, it stings. So, and we know where we stand at the moment. But for us, it's just focusing on, like, literally, we had some big lessons again from the Doggies game on the week and how we're going to finish this season. And the showdown is a perfect lead-in for these 3 weeks.
And just on yourself, how are you feeling fitness-wise towards the end of another long season?
Pretty good. I had 4 weeks off at the start of the season, which I reckon is starting to make me feel pretty good, I reckon. So having a month off earlier on is going to keep me nice and fresh for later in the year. But, yeah, got a couple of little things. Obviously, I need the surgery on the finger end of the season, which will, that'll obviously take its time then.
Thanks, Rory.
Channel 9, you on the call with any questions?
Yeah, g'day Rory, Will from 9 here, mate. Firstly, would love to hear your thoughts on, I suppose, the showdown. It's always better with, a full house. We're not sure what the situation is, but what would it mean to at least get a few rabid Crows fans in there to help you guys hopefully get over the line?
I think it obviously would mean way more to the fans than anyone else. They've missed footy more than anyone. We've obviously been away for the last couple of weekends and we've missed a home game there. So for our fans, it's just been the world. So hopefully there's, 25% crowd capacity or something like that. But yeah, it'd be unbelievable for our fans and members.
What had 4 kind of tall forwards playing on the weekend. I know you're not necessarily the selector, but would you like to see another tall come in to maybe help combat that down back?
Sorry, I missed the start of that question.
Sorry, Port Adelaide had 4 tall forwards on the weekend playing pretty well. Do you think maybe it could be good to get another tall defender in for you guys to help counterbalance that?
Yeah, we've got some tall defenders in some good form, and obviously I think Billy Frampton was pretty stiff to miss out on the weekend, but we had Nick Murray come in and really do his job again. So Jordan Butts has been incredible all year, but yeah, Bill found a little spot back there against Hawthorn, so we got confidence if we need to, we could bring him in too.
And Tommy Lynch, he's been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks. Should he get a new deal for next year? There's a lot of talk about, with his injury history and whatnot, but it looks like he's been playing well. Should he get a new contract, do you think, through your eyes?
Yeah, obviously that one, this managers will take care of Tommy there, but I mean, his on-field stuff speaks for itself. I mean, he works harder than I think a lot of guys around the footy club, and the way he attacked his rehab to get himself super fit, and super strong for this back part of the year. I think it's just a credit to Tom. So there's no wonder why he's performing.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for that, guys.
Jason Phelan, you got any questions, Jason?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Rory, just on your own form, Nixie talked about tweaking your role a bit a few weeks back. Can you just sort of take us through a bit of what might have changed there?
So for me, I mean, it's still been obviously a little bit of time midfield, bit of time wing, bit of time forward. We're really trying to expose, I suppose, a few of the younger guys for a bit more midfield minutes. And I mean, you've seen Harry Schoenberg play some really solid footy over the last month in there. Sammy Berry comes in and pinch hits where he can. So these guys, we really want to see a couple of our young kids step up and play a bit more midfield time as well. So, I mean, myself, Benny Keys, you've seen a bit more forward. But yeah, we're just getting a few more guys to rotate through, I suppose, those limited mid spots.
And Nixie also talked about perhaps success not being as far away as it might look at times. Are you seeing signs that sort of point to the same thing?
This whole season, I think I've seen signs that we could have, should have, maybe been a little bit better or maybe won a few more games. But, I mean, for us, it's just all learning, isn't it? And we've got a young crew, a pretty inexperienced crew, but it's how quickly we can learn and just really just get better over this year. And I think we've done an enormous amount of work so far. And that's the whole reason why we want to finish so strongly, is because we've done so much good work at the start of the year and through this middle part of the season. We need to finish off strong and take some momentum into next season.
And it was touched on there, but obviously Port present as a very tall unit at the moment, and they generated 65 inside 50s against GWS. I mean, it's hard to hold back that sort of tide. How do you go about sort of curbing that?
Yeah, well, obviously it starts with stoppages and starts in the midfield, but if we can win our fair share and lock it in our forward half, then that might stop those sort of numbers. But they're a very good football side, Port. So, we know we're going to have to be on. And I think we spoke about it earlier, the pressure that always, it's finals like pressure. It's that same intensity you get. So our pressure's got to be on and sticking a few more tackles, hey?
Just on the tackle, the finger, does that bother you in game, or is it more something that just needs to be taken care of at the end of the season?
It basically just needs to be taken care of end of season. Obviously, can impact a little bit of the grip, but it's pretty good once I buddy it up next to its old mate next to it.
No worries. That's all from me. Thanks.
Matt at the ABC.
Sorry, just having trouble with the mute button there. Rory, just the one, rotating young squad's always critical. Sam Berry's looked pretty tired in the last month or so. Is it a time, either this week or next, that maybe he has a break and someone like a Haitley gets another look at it?
Well, maybe it's just roles. I mean, Sammy Berry came into the midfield more in that second half, and I thought he looked really sharp in there too. So might be a bit more time forward for me, and I might just push Sammy in there and see how he goes. So there might be a bit more rotation in that regard instead too.
We still need to see more of Haitley before the season's done. He was touted as a good pickup into the club, but we've only seen him in a couple of games so far.
Yeah, and we'd love to have him out there. He's unfortunately been injured the last couple of weeks and managing a little bit of injuries. So hopefully he gets himself right and fit, and we can get him back within the last few weeks.
Thanks very much.
Any other last questions for Sloane?
Yeah, I'll jump in with one more if that's all right, boys. Roz, where do you reckon Filthy's at? Would you like to see him back?
Obviously, Filthy's unbelievable talent. We love having him in the team. But Big Easy came in, and Big Elliot Himmelberg came in and played some really solid footy and really holding that spot. And that's what we asked Thorpe to do when he first came in. He did that. And that's what Elliot's been doing as well. So it all depends on the mix we want to roll with down there. But I've loved the way Elliot's attacked it and attacked the game as well, and really grabbed that spot too.
And you mentioned you might spend a bit more time forward. Is that something you'll do later in your career, do you think, to give these young guys access to the middle?
yeah, we've been doing it a fair bit this year as well. So it's just about finding that right mix, that right balance, which we're still working on. But yeah, having a few more guys rotate through the midfield certainly helps us as a group.
And lastly, mate, you said you picked up some good lessons from the Dogs game. We've heard that term sort of consistently throughout the season. Does it ever get frustrating continually learning lessons for you?
Obviously, we'd love to be winning more games, absolutely. Yeah, part of you is going to be realistic at times as well. And yeah, for us, I mean, it's just where we're at, I think. And we've had some really close games. We would have loved to have won a few more of those tight ones. Had some disappointing losses. But as I said before, it's like all those lessons that combine up now, and these last 3 weeks become so important because we saw what a bit of momentum did for us at the end of last year, and that's how we want to carry on. That's how we want to go forward into our off-season, into our pre-season with a bit of momentum and a really good feeling around the footy club.
Lastly, sorry, mate, favourite Olympic moment, got one for us?
Wow. Already, I mean, I've loved watching the Matildas. I was shattered for them last night. How good's the swimming been, to be honest? I mean, it came at the best timing for us, really. We went to Melbourne. We were sort of isolated in the hotel room for a while, and all we did was put on the big screen and just watch the Olympics. But, yeah, there's been some incredible moments. Jess Fox winning gold, that really, I felt so emotional for her because it would have been so much pressure. So, yeah, that was incredible.